In this video, I'm going to let you know some of the cool Black Friday specials that we have going on for music and video creators. But if it's your first time here on the channel, you might be saying, who is this guy and why would I listen to him? Well, my name is Pete and this is Studio Live today, where my goal is to help you create, record and release your best music. So we're going to talk about a bunch of products and we're going to talk about some services, some apps, some other things. But the thing I want to put out up here right up front is that if you have no gear at all, or if you have just some basic entry level gear, go ahead and start creating. I don't want you to go and buy any of these things or anything for your music and thinking that it's going to make your music instantly better like that. What you need to do is get really good and comfortable creating and just do it over and over again. And then what the gear does is it helps you level up as you go along. So don't buy the gear thinking that that's the way to get to better music. Start creating better music and then enhance that better music with the gear. And I know I'm shooting myself in the foot at the very start by saying that because, hey, I'm doing a show about products and then I'm telling you not to buy products, but I wanted to put that out up front. Now, all of the things we talk about in this show are linked right down in the description. Those are mostly affiliate links, which means if you do decide to make a purchase, you don't pay any more, but they break off a little chunk and send it my way. So wanted to make sure that was really clear right up front. And what I'm going to recommend here is I haven't gone through and found all the deals on stuff that I've never used or that I don't know is good quality. This is all stuff that I use or has been recommended to me or used by people that I trust. So yes, without any further ado, and with all that being said, let's dive in and start looking at what we have on offer. Here we go. I haven't shared my screen yet. Professional live streaming at its best. There we go. So the first two links that are down in the description are the generic links. So if you just want to browse around and see if there's something that is going to take your fancy, there is all of the deals and promotions there. And then I've got a link just for music gear. So if you're a musician and a creator, you can check out all of the specials on all the cool music gear that is available on Amazon at the moment. Now, most of these are for Amazon.com. There are a few deals that translate across to the UK and to Australia, so you can check out some of those as well. I actually bought a product that I've never bought before. I'll let you know at the end of this one what that was from Amazon here in Australia, because I think it's going to be part of what is the next big wave for audio, but we'll get into that as we continue on here. Now, let's not beat around the bush, as we say here. Is it an Australian expression? I don't know. The iPad 10.2 inch, the 2019 model, is on special. Now, if you know anything about Apple products and iPads and iPhones in particular, you know that they just simply don't go on special very much, if at all. So if you get $10 off an iPad or an iPhone, you've done pretty darn well. So to have one here that is $249, so this is a new model that came out recently for $329, and it is now down to $249. Now, why is it so cheap? Well, here's the deal. I'm going to give you the straight talk on this one. This particular model is using a chip from about 2 generations ago. So whilst it's a new model iPad, it is actually not using. So the iPad Air 3 came out, which is a couple of generations further on. Then they released this as a bit of a budget model. That all being said, if you're rocking an old iPad Air that you can't update to iOS 13, or you've got an iPad 3rd or 4th generation and you are looking for a budget conscious way to upgrade your iPad and have something that is going to be able to run GarageBand, going to be able to run AUM and Audio Bus and all of your apps and do a really good job. We're not talking iPad Pro level here. It's not a $1,000 iPad, but for $250, I was recommending these when these were $329, like only a couple of months ago. So for $249, that's a pretty good deal. So if you are in the market for a new iPad, again, they just simply don't get discounted much at all. So it's the first time I've actually seen a brand new iPad on Amazon at a discounted price so soon after it's been released. And again, it is not the latest and greatest iPad. So if you are looking for the best performance, you do want to lean towards an iPad Pro. But again, if you are creating or you're just getting into creating on the mobile platform, this is a great place to start. Let us continue on. If you know me and you've watched any of my content, you know I love this little sucker here. This is the Samson Meteor, which is a USB microphone. This is the titanium edition, which looks pretty cool. I have the chrome version you would have seen me play around with here on the channel before. This one is the titanium edition. Why is this good? Well, it is a USB microphone, so you can use it, plug and play directly with your Mac or PC. You can use it via the handy dandy Lightning to USB 3 adapter, this one here, to plug it directly into your iPhone or iPad, and it's really good. I have this in its little bag, and I throw it in my Bago audio gear, and it just means I've got a high quality microphone with me all the time. If I want to capture a vocal, if I want to capture a acoustic guitar performance or something like that, I know I've got this here. And again, for the price, now that it's down to $44.99, without sounding too much like the Home Shopping Network, what a deal. But yeah, I paid about $100 secondhand here in Australia for my Samson Meteor. 4.5 stars. Again, people on Amazon aren't backward in coming forward with their reviews if they don't like a product. So if it gets a 4.5 star average rating, then that's pretty cool. The other thing to check out is always look for how many 3 and 2 star ratings there are, because the 1 star ratings, in all honesty, whenever I've read 1 star ratings on Amazon, they're usually people for whom it just hasn't worked. They've either bought the wrong product, it hasn't been compatible with what they've using. So I'm not saying let's blame the user error, but quite often I'll look at the 5, 4, 3, and 2, 5 and 4 star ratings and go, yep, that's what they want. The 3 and the 2 star ratings are the ones that you want to check out. If they're really high, it means that maybe it's an inadequate product overall, and the actual quality might be bad. The 1 star reviews I tend to take with a pinch, grain, or shaker of salt. So the Samson Meteor, a very cool microphone, one that I actually use on pretty much a daily basis for capturing bits and pieces of my ideas. If you want to step up from there, yes, it's no surprise here. Clearly streaming and doing what I'm doing here, live streaming and YouTubing and being an influencer and all those things is is a hot topic when it comes to what's being sold at the moment, because all of this streaming gear is actually being sold. Now, this is the Blue Yeti Nano. There it is. It's the little brother, little sister of the Blue Yeti. It is a USB microphone again. And the beauty of this one, I talked about this on a very recent stream where I talked all about USB mics, is that it's a 24-bit interface. So you get the highest quality, well, what is currently considered the highest quality audio that you can actually record. It has the microphone, it has volume. I didn't tell the features. Same as the Samson Meteor. They both have a volume control. They both have a headphone jack, so you can use latency-free monitoring, which is really important. If you're recording multiple tracks, you can actually record them at the same time. So the way these work, if you missed my USB microphone video the other day, is that you plug them in via USB or via your Lightning to USB adapter, and then they become the input and output of your audio. They replace your sound card. So if you plug it into your PC, it becomes your sound card, and then you record in, and then it plays back any audio through that headphone jack. So it makes them super handy, because if you're doing an interview, so if I was doing this and I had someone else and I was using one of these, I'd just plug my headphones into that microphone, and then I'd be talking to them, but I'd also be hearing them talking back to me. So it's super handy, even if you're using for Skype calls, Zoom conferences, any of that sort of gear. These are a good option. However, if you want to go all the way up to the industry standard, the Blue Yeti Blackout. Now, I haven't seen this under $100 pretty much ever. It's rarely, by the way, side note, the list price you see there, it's rarely that price. So the Blue Yeti is usually around $110, and now it's $89. So I know it says save $50. I know it says 36%, and I know I should be saying, what a deal, what a bargain. But in all honesty, it's still about $20 off what you would normally pay. So $89.99 for the Blue Yeti. And this is, I haven't even looked at what this comes with. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Someone who's a gamer and knows what that's all about can tell me. So you get the PC digital standard, valid in the US and Canada only. Oh, so apparently you get to use that and play games with it. You can tell them, I used to be a gamer, and then I got into audio, or got back into music and audio, and I stopped playing games. So if you know more about that, let me know. But the good thing is you get the Blue Yeti, which again, as I said, it's industry standard. You've got multiple polar patterns on there. You've got a mute button, you've got the volume, you've got the headphones, you've got all those things, and it is really it's the industry standard for a reason, and it's used by a lot of folks who actually produce great sounding audio. So consider that one if you're in the market. This one's pretty exciting, and I'm on. If I didn't have all the MIDI controllers already, so behind me, if I didn't have like 3 MIDI controllers leaning up against my wall, I would pick one of these up because I've always wanted one. I have used them before, the Akai LPK. This is the LPK 25. Again, it's $49, and that's a really, really good deal for this keyboard, but it's not that $129. You usually pick it up for around $90 or $80. $49 though is still a ridiculously good price for an Akai 25 key keyboard with the controls that you get on this one. Yeah, it's not the professional range, so it doesn't have a heap of options there, but you can see you've still got your ability to change your octave, which is very important, and you've got a whole bunch of other features there. So depending what DAW you're using, you can see that you've got a bunch of things that you can change by pressing the keys. So it doesn't have a whole bunch of knobs and dials and things, but if you're someone who's creating in GarageBand, creating in Cubasis, in Auria, any desktop software, GarageBand on your Mac, Reaper on your PC, plug this sucker in, and it really, if you've never used a MIDI keyboard, you'll be, even if you're not a keyboard player, you'll be so surprised at how useful it is. Even just for drums, like imagine, tapping in your drums, you can actually use your MIDI keyboard and you've got velocity sensitivity to tap in your drums. It's very, very cool. So yeah, check that one out, the Akai LPK25. I had to throw this in because I'm a guitar player and I'm always on the lookout for strings. I have a drawer full. In fact, I've probably, if I open this drawer down here, just to prove that I actually do practice what I preach, I should have, yeah. So I actually use Ernie Ball. I've got the hybrid slinkies here. These are the regular slinkies, a 3-pack. Yeah, I've got a 3-pack of them here. But a 3-pack of Ernie Ball strings for $10, yeah, I'm in. So if you're an electric guitar player and you want to get yourself some quality strings, then yeah, go ahead and pick those up. I'm, like I say, whenever I see strings on special, I just buy like a few 3-packs because yeah, it's nothing worse than going to the music store and like paying that retail price for like one set, and you're like, they'll be like, that'll be $29, and you're like, for one set of strings? Are you serious? Yes. So this is something, if you're a guitar player, you do need strings. So unlike a lot of the other gear where it's kind of optional, you are going to need strings for your guitar. So that's why I was on the lookout for any string deals. I think I saw, they weren't these ones. So the strings I use on my acoustic are the Elixirs. So I use these ones, the Elixir strings. There were some of the 12-string versions that were on sale at the moment, but yeah, maybe take a look around and see if there's any good deals around. By the way, if you're here live, hello. We will be jumping over to the live chat after I go through my little spiel here to see if anyone else has any good suggestions for products, services, apps, or otherwise that they would recommend. But we're going to continue with a couple more here. That's the majority of the music gear. Now, I mentioned before that I have bought a product. I bought it just this morning, absolute impulse buy, even though I told you don't impulse buy at the start of this show. I totally impulse bought. And I bought this. I bought an Amazon Echo Dot. Now, why did I buy an Amazon Echo Dot? I own 3 Google Home Minis. So, oh no, 2 Google Home Minis and a Google Home Screen, whatever that one is called. Why am I buying an Amazon Echo Dot? Here's the thing. There's a lot of people, a lot of pundits like Gary Vaynerchuk and others who think that audio is going to be the next big thing. Now, I don't share that view in the sort of level that, yes, it's going to take over the world. But if you are someone who uses things like Siri, or you use Hey Google, oh, sorry, I've just set off everyone's thing. You use Hey insert name or OK insert name of thing, and you do things. Yeah, when these first came out, they were kind of just to play music. Now what I find is that I'm using them to identify songs. I'll say, what's this other song playing? You use your assistant to do that. And it's starting to actually organize my life too. So I've got it synced with my Google one, synced to my Google Calendar. I can say, what appointments do I have today? Do I have new emails? What's the weather going to be like? Will it rain later? So it's pretty simple for now. But I think these voice assistants are going to become a lot more as we get sort of more to the Internet of Things. Like I have 2 lights that I use here, and I haven't quite worked it out yet because I'm a bit lazy, but I have an app on my phone, the Mirabella app for the lights, and I can turn them on and off with my phone. Now, what I can actually do is if I had an Echo Dot sitting here on my desk, I could say, hey, name of thing, turn my lights on, or turn on my front left light, or set the brightness of my light to 50%. They're the kind of things that I think are going to be really handy. How that's going to be for musicians and creators, I'm not sure. I really don't know. It's kind of like what YouTube was 20 years ago. We didn't really know that it was going to become this platform of video creation and live streaming and all of the rest of it. But there's got to be something that's going to be there for musicians and for content creators, because it is growing rapidly. You go to all the smart home stuff, all the Internet of Things, every device is connected now. Whether we like it all or not, whether you're into the privacy side of it or not, it is happening. And I totally respect. Some people say to me, Pete, I don't want anything in my house that's going to be listening to me. And then they pull out their smartphone. So I say, sorry, you already do. But yes, if you're concerned about privacy, then it might not be for you. But I've picked one of these up because it's worth it for me to learn about it. I like to learn about the new things and what's happening. Excuse me. All right, let's continue on. The last couple of things I'm going to talk about are actually apps as opposed to products. And these are all apps apps and plugins and effects that I use. Now, I'm not going to go into detail, but yesterday I did a video. Here it is. Here I am. I did a video about Clevgrand and all of their audio plugins and products. So you can jump over to that video. I will link it in the description below, or just search Pete Johns Clevgrand and you'll find all of my recommendations of the Clevgrand apps there that you can check out, which is very, very cool. So I should probably give you a bit more detail. I'll jump off. I don't know why I just had that one picture of my face on there. But yeah, what you can do with the Clevgrand apps, there's things like the Stark Amp Simulator. If you missed the review yesterday, Stark Amp Simulator, very cool AUV3 plugin for your guitar playing. They've got things like compressor and their EQ, the Core Compressor and the Go-To EQ. What else do they have on sale? Go and check out the video. There's lots of cool stuff over there. Clevgrand makes some of the best iOS and Mac and PC plugins and apps and effects going around. So I highly recommend checking those out. This last one is a bit special and a little bit meta, because I'll probably be using this. Well, I will. I'll be using this app later today because I use it every day. It is LumaFusion by LumaTouch. And it's the first time in a long time it's actually on sale. So I can't remember the prices. Yeah, great research, Pete. You've done well. I think it's $19.99 US at the moment. Someone in the chat might be able to help me out and confirm that. It's usually, I think, $29.99. But the good thing about LumaFusion, if you're like me and you're not a huge fan of subscriptions, so subscriptions for your apps, the reason I got into LumaFusion is that there are some others that will remain nameless that are iOS video editors that you pay a monthly subscription fee. LumaFusion, I paid for it once about 2 years ago, and I've been using it ever since. It is one of the best apps that I've ever used. It has its foibles because you're editing 6 tracks of audio and video sometimes on my iPhone. So yes, sometimes it has a few hiccups and things and a few quirks, but yeah, that's just kind of charming, isn't it? But if you are seriously into mobile creation, whether it's music or video, and the reason I'm putting a video app here in a show for musicians is that you kind of have to be into video. I know some people will say, I'm a musician, I'm a songwriter, I'm a beat producer, why do I need to be into video? Well, you don't. But if you actually want to get in front of people and get exposure for your music, you kind of do. So even if it is just creating lyric videos, creating visualizations, creating other Instagram videos and other short videos, this is the bomb. So you want to check out LumaFusion. Excuse me. If you use iMovie, again, if you want a free alternative, iMovie is great. And I've got a heap of videos about how to use iMovie for iOS right here on the channel. You can check all of those out. But if you want to get into some serious video and audio production, LumaFusion is where it's at. And if you've watched any of my videos in the last probably 18 months here on the channel, every single one of them has been edited on my phone using LumaFusion. Even the ones like this that I shoot on my PC, if I need to cut it down or if I need to do any editing, I send them straight over to my phone and edit them there, just because I can edit anywhere and I can do it on the go. So there you go. If you came here to see what I recommend, as you've seen there, it's not a lot, because I don't want to go out and, like I say, I wasn't going out trying to find things to buy. I was just looking at things that I have bought or would buy anyway and would recommend, and letting you know that, hey, for the next 8 hours or so, they're at a pretty good price and you may want to check them out. Let us come in here and see what we have from folks here live. So hello to all of the folks that were here and that have joined me. So we have Ken Mitchell here. We've got Harry and the Hesitators. Great name. Wiz is here. Jade Star is here. Chad is here. DJ Southpaw. The Up and Down Turnarounds. Judy Free. Music Life and Mobile Metal Metal is here. Darren Bryan, we've got a bunch of folks here all chatting. I've got some. I've realized I'm playing something back somewhere. I could hear myself, and I'm like, I'm actually playing myself back on my phone. How distracting and weird. So we'll see if we've got any. Here we go. So we want to see if we've got any folks here live that have got some additional tips that we can actually check out. And then I will add those and throw those. Jade Star, Bias FX has 60% off all pedals and bundles at the moment for guitarists. Now, Bias FX is an amp simulator, similar to Amplitube if you've used that, or the Stark amp sim I was talking about from Cleveground. I know a lot of folks who use and love Bias. They're made by Positive Grid, who also make Final Touch, which is the great mastering app that I use. So that is worth checking out for sure. And if it's recommended by Jade Star, you know it's going to be good. I've got a question here from Timothy. I'm at work and can't continue. Here's a question. Focusrite Studio Kit mic. Should I go for the Yeti and a Focusrite? I skip the kit mic. Yeah, so it's an interesting question whether you go for a USB mic like the Blue Yeti when you're starting out, or whether you go for an audio interface like a Focusrite Scarlett with the studio kit that's got that. I actually really love, and I know Jade Star, who we just heard from, has picked this up, the UR22 Mark II from Steinberg, their kit that has a really good quality microphone, headphones, and audio interface. So if you want an all-in-one solution, go for something like that. At the moment, yeah, for $90 though, that Blue Yeti is pretty appealing because the Blue Yetis are good on vocals, okay on guitars, but yeah, they do a good job. You're going to get good quality audio, and plug and play simplicity is where it's at. So you kind of depends on your budget, and depends on how complex you want to go. Mr. Rad's Variety Channel has an MPK Mini. Great to hear. So yes, and Mobile Metal says, I need that keyboard. Yeah, like I say, I'm very tempted. There may be one being shipped to Australia, although for $50, I'll have to take a close look because it'll probably be $30 to deliver it. So I probably still might be better off walking into a shop here in Australia and trying to pick one up there. Let's see if we've got anyone else who has added thing. I need LumaFusion. Yes, LumaFusion is very, very cool. I definitely recommend LumaFusion for those getting into video editing. And it's not a difficult program to learn either. It's one of those things that it's like Texas Hold'em poker, where it takes a minute to learn and a lifetime to master. It's the same thing with LumaFusion. You can get in there, throw in 4 clips, cut them together, add some transitions, and export them as a 1080p video. And you could do that intuitively without anything. You then want to get into overlays, to color grading and correcting, to filters, to audio manipulation, and all of the rest of it. Then yeah, it takes a while and you learn. But again, it's everything. You can start simple and then continue on. Duty free, I can endorse both Cleveground apps and LumaFusion. Excellent products. Yeah, I agree. I agree with me. But no, I talk to a lot of people about a lot of apps, and Cleveground and LumaTouch are two companies that get a lot of respect. They're both very conscious of their communities, so they know the importance of actually reaching out and engaging with their communities. And that's a lot more important than you think, because when things happen, so LumaFusion, LumaTouch, I've been in touch with them a few times. They'll always get back to me. They are always receptive to feedback. The same with the folks over at Cleveground. They know that they only survive if their community are happy and are getting the service and are getting the support that they need. And some other companies, some other products don't live by that, and that's why I use them. So yeah, I will stop doing. Oh, we've got some more ideas here. Also picked up Moog Model 15 on sale on iOS. Moog or Moog, depending what you want to say. I think Moog is correct. So yes, that is a cool one. I'm gonna have to come back and watch this myself and check it out. If you can help me. If you want to help me out, what I would love you to do, firstly, if you got some value out of this today, if you hit the like button, that just tells me that these videos are cool and you want to see more of them. But more importantly, drop a comment. Once the video finishes, if you've got the time and you can help me out, go back and drop a comment with the link. Sometimes it'll flag them as spam, but I'll make sure I go in there and unflag them, because if you've got links to some of these deals, come back and actually do that. That would be really, really cool. Let's see if we've got anyone else. We've got a question, which is, anyone ever seen the actual specs on the iPad internal mic, sensitivity, etc.? I haven't personally. I haven't spent a lot of time looking at them. I know there's one user, and if you're watching this video, I can't remember your name, but you are like an iPad guru. So if that user is watching, drop some comments or some links down in the comments here. And they were basically saying that the audio quality on the iPad has actually decreased in recent times in terms of the internal headphone. The internal mic, though, I tend to find it works pretty well. I use my iPad Air 2, and I've done whole videos where I've showed how I record a demo just using the internal mic on the Air 2, and I find that it works pretty well. I haven't diven into a lot of the other details and the specs around the iPad microphones, but it's a great point, and maybe I need to do that. Timothy has a question. Can't tip you with PayPal, but can I tip you with PayPal? You can. So I don't promote it a lot, but if you do want to make a one-off donation, you can head to paypal.me/PeteJohns. There's a link down in the description. There's also Super Chat available on YouTube. There's also Patreon at patreon.com/PeteJohns. And I have some news about my merch, which I'll tell you right at the end before we go. Remind me to tell you that, because that I have my own Black Friday deal, sort of, if you're interested in that. Let's continue on here. We've got Duty Free. So Duty Free says all my recent videos have been produced using LumaFusion. Yes, me too. Love it. All righty. So a couple more questions here. We've got, should I get a boom arm with a Blue Yeti? You definitely can get a boom arm. I use this one. To be honest, I was going to get like a good high quality boom arm. I ended up picking up this one, which I know you can't see. Let's see if we can lift it up. This one here, it was literally one that Mike over at Creative Source bought on eBay, and I saw him with it, and I said, hey, where'd you buy that? And he said, eBay, $20. And I said, cool. And I went and bought it, and it's actually really good. I've been using it for 6 months now, and it has not missed a beat. It's not got the, tight, when you're screwing it up, you have to kind of get a screwdriver and tighten it up properly there. But it has some really good options there. All righty. Cool. So let us continue on here. I think we're close to done. If no one else has any that's live, has any other suggestions here, then we are going to finish off. But as I mentioned just then, I have one more thing to go. So if you right now, I'm going to test the link first before I tell you, in case I haven't set it up properly or that the forwarding is not working so well. But drum roll, please. Yes, here we go. So I have just updated my merchandise store, and yes, it's a pretty modest merchandise store. There it is, all 3 items that you can purchase. So we've got the new, the classic look Studio Live Today logo t-shirts. We've got the Studio Live Today hoodies available, and we've got the Studio Live Today mugs. And I've actually repriced them even lower. So the t-shirts are $16.99, the hoodies are $26.99, and the mugs are $14.99 US. So that will be different in your part of the world. You can see there in Australia, it's 25, 39 and 22, and your part of the world will vary. If you're in if you're in Europe or the UK, they actually do have options to ship them directly from there as well. And I don't do a lot of whole promoting of like every video, hey guys, buy my merch and all that sort of jazz, because I don't want to be annoying, and I find that sort of thing annoying. But I think these are pretty cool. I have a couple of them. You would have seen me wearing them here on the show before. Let's jump in and take a look at this one. So it's not just the black. I know a lot of folks like the black, but I've put it in some other cool funky colors here. We have the navy blue, which is, I think, it's not working. It's not clicking through the colors. There we go. We've got the green. I like the British Racing green. We got the navy blue. We got the gray, and we got the purple. I'm kind of a fan of the purple. I have a Recording Studio Rockstars t-shirt in that purple. And here's a good thing. Like I said, I'm going to have my own Black Friday sale. I've put a promo code in there at the moment, which is Mates Rates. So when you're checking out, if you put Mates Rates in there, you're going to get another $5 off. So I just wanted to do something a bit different. And again, I'm not making huge wads of cash from this, because you can probably tell if you know anything about the cost price of these things. $16.99 is not making much, and removing $5. So what is that? $11.99 for a Studio Live Today t-shirt. I think that's a pretty cool deal. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check it out. And I promise I'll stop the self-promotion in a moment. after I tell you this, if you want to check out any of the products that we've mentioned or the services in this video, there are links down in the description. You can also go to studiolivetoday.com/gear. That is my gear guide where I have links to all of the different gear I recommend. So if you're watching this in the future and you're super sad because you missed the Black Friday deals, don't worry. There's always good prices and good specials on all of this sort of stuff. You just need to go to studiolivetoday.com/gear, click on the links there. And once again, those are affiliate links. So they'll break off a little chunk and send it my way for full disclosure. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I hope you enjoyed this. If you got some value, hit the like button. And I will see you on the next video. Cheers.